My name is Chris Hughes. I'm the Director of Purchasing for the state of Utah. In that role, I serve as the Chief Procurement Officer for executive branch agencies in the state of Utah. I oversee all of the procurements that go on for most executive branch agencies. And then I also manage the state cooperative contract program for all public entities to use. I believe state agencies should keep open communication with vendors during the solicitation process. That means before and during, while the solicitation is posted, because at the end of the day, whoever the state awards to is going to be a partner, and the state needs to feel comfortable with what they're getting from that partner is what is actually needed. And without that communication with all of the vendors that are going to be participating, the state may miss out on opportunities to get the solution that's needed. Communication needs to be open and honest, and by allowing for communication to occur, that's when you're going to get the solutions that a state agency actually needs. And it's not just going to be something that the state agency believes it wants. I think a lot of state agencies are just a lot more risk adverse, is that they don't want to be seen as giving an unfair advantage to a vendor, or they don't want to be seen as providing information to a vendor that they shouldn't. So they tend to tell everyone that no, they're not going to communicate. In reality, I think it's better if they just open up their doors and allow as many vendors that want to talk to them, so that the state understands what technology is out there, what the vendors are doing, where the industry is going. And without that communication, then the state's in the dark about what it could be receiving in terms of the solutions that it's looking for. And if you're not having that communication, then people are going to have to go on to the internet and search to see what's out there and do their own research. And that has its disadvantages as well, because a lot of state employees aren't going to be subject matter experts on what the industry is going to be doing. And so then they'll get into the situation where maybe they're just going out for a procurement for what they've always had, because that's what they feel safe with and they know what's out there. In the state of Utah, we have a question and an answer period during all of our solicitations. And in that, any vendor that asks a question, the answer is then communicated to all of the vendors so that they know what's going on and what the state's position is on that question. During an RFP, I would love it if vendors were just open and transparent. I think some vendors at times feel like they don't want to participate in the question and answer period because they believe that that may give an advantage to one of their competitors. So they'll try and remain in the darkness as well. I think if we can create an open and transparent question and answer period that allows vendors to be able to respond and get the answers that they need, and that it provides situations in which vendors feel like they're being listened to, then they'll want to communicate more. However, I think it's just as important to realize that not all of your vendors' questions or suggestions are going to be taken up by the state. Just because one vendor believes one thing doesn't mean that that's what the state necessarily needs. So in any communication, vendors and the state need to realize, hey, what's going to be proposed or questioned isn't going to come to fruition in the solicitation, and that both parties just need to realize that they are two parties, and that they just need to be able to have that communication, good or bad.